Hello and welcome to 12 Noon Live. After one defeat to Ireland, all hell have broken loose, and people are talking about various players. Debate is on social media whether this playing 11 which India played in the first T20I, whether it's the best playing 11 India could field against Ireland. And with the series on the line now, let's see whether we can deliberate on what the best playing 11 out of these 15 players are. For this Indian team under Shreyas Iyer, not the best of start. So let's start the discussion. Shamikda, a lot of talks around Tilak Varma, around Prasidh Krishna, around Washington Sundar. Uh, where did India go wrong as per you in the first T20I?
That Prashit Krishna over where 27 runs were conceded, two fours and three sixes. And on that ground, 175, the highest target that was chased was 175. Uh, Ireland's total, and it was a pitch where the ball never quite came onto the bat. So stroke making was difficult. So from that point of view, that 27 run from Prashit, that 27 run over from Prashit Krishna, that sort of lost India the game. Also, Washington Sundar considered a 19 run over, a six of a no ball. That was the thing. And apart from Abhishek Sharma, nobody quite could. Ireland bowled well, and as because the ball didn't come onto the bat. If you look at the trend set of this Indian team, they struggled on similar pitches at the World Cup also. Yeah, we covered that USA game, 77 for six, and Surya rescued. One Ahmedabad, South Africa game, they lost. So this team has its limitations when the pitch is not a belter, when the majority of the batsmen cannot plonk their front foot forward and go hammer and tongs and play through the line. This team has a bit of limitations. But that said, under Surya, India haven't lost a bilateral T20I series over the last 2 years. Now there is a new captain, and Shreyas Iyer is under pressure because they will have to win tomorrow's game. But once again, I would like to see tomorrow Prince Yadav replacing Prashit Krishna.
Bharat, I'll allow you to defend Prasidh Krishna. Don't worry about that. But before it, where do you think India went wrong? Was it the batting part? Was it the bowling part? After finding Ireland at around 75 for five, they let them score 185 runs on the board. Batting wise, apart from Abhishek Sharma, Shamikda also said there was a kind of a collapse in the batting unit as well. Where did India go wrong with the bat? Was the main issue was with the bat or with the ball? Where do you think it went wrong?
I think it was with the ball. See, there itself, I will tend to not just defend, but also criticize the cricketer that you, the offer-side cricketer's name that you took up. See, I will go to Prasidh Krishna only. In the recent ODI, obviously, he took 5 wickets. So I think he's developing really well in Test cricket and ODI cricket. You also would have seen him in Mulanpur, that he bowled wobble seam there. He was going round the wicket. I think it was one of his better performances in Test cricket. But when it comes to T20 cricket, it's also about the pressure. It's also about your mindset because it tests the bowler like anything. So I guess he has a still problem there when it comes to T20 cricket, because in T20 cricket you have to look at every ball as an outcome. You would be hit for three sixes or four sixes, but I don't think Prasidh Krishna thinks like that. If you hit for a two, three sixes, then he seems to get a little bit rattled. So basically, yesterday he tried those half cutters. It came like a tube light. It has been the case with him even in 2017 when I watched him in the Maharaja Trophy KPL. His cutters would come like a tube light, almost like at 90 kilometers per hour. Even if I was sitting in front of the TV, even I can pick that cutter. But in those conditions, he should have just pulled his length back and bowled hard length. But instead, he went and bowled all those cutters and got smashed on a wicket with tennis ball bounce. He should have just stuck to strengths. That is what Harshit Rana did. But unfortunately, Prasidh didn't do, because I think under pressure, under extreme pressure, he still cracks. So I don't think he's made for T20 cricket. Just keep picking him in ODIs and Test cricket because he's developing there. So that is about Prasidh Krishna. So yes, it went wrong with him because he tried all those cutters in conditions where the dimensions are also pretty small, straight down the ground. It made no sense. And then there was Washington Sundar. He bowled at 1 over, gave away 19 runs. With greatest respect to Washington Sundar, I'm not very sure what exactly brings to the T20 setup. Yes, Washington Sundar, I can agree, definitely agree that is very much utility cricket and test cricket. But in T20 cricket, an off spinner, unless the opposition has about five, six left hand batters, it's always going to be difficult to pick an off spinner. But the Indian selectors, Indian think tank have a lot of faith in him. Maybe they're seeing something in him that we are not seeing. That is about the bowling effort. Yes, the fielding effort also was not good. You would have seen in the recent past that Indian fielders have dropped catches. It's not just the women's team, the men's team too have been dropping quite a few catches across formats. Yes, so I think that was a bowling part. I think it was mainly the bowling part because in those conditions, 180 was, I think, a winning score. But even then, the batting part, it was not so great. Barring Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Varma has a problem against spin bowling. I don't think it is just about the mindset. I think he has a problem or two in his game because he's not able to play shots against good line deliveries from spinners through the onside. Some tell that it's because he loses the shape on his shots. It could be something else. But he definitely has a flaw or two in his game against spin bowling. I genuinely believe this is the time. This was perhaps the time that Indian selectors could have looked at Ajat Patidar, but they definitely want to show a lot more faith in Tilak Varma. So, at a macro level, the answer to a question would be the bowling basically lost this game. But having said that, there were enough issues in that batting department as well.
Vaibhav, did India take Ireland a bit lightly in the post-match presentation? Also, Shreyas Iyer multiple time mentioned you cannot take anyone lightly. You have to play at the best of your abilities, etc., etc. Was there a sense of complacency also from India's point of view last evening?
See, I think more than complacency, I think they lacked in all three departments. If you have to ask me where they lost the game in all three departments, they were poor. Like you talk about the batting, first the bowling effort. Apart from Harshit Rana and Arshdeep Singh, you look at the other bowlers, and then even Akshar Patel. I understand that couple of catches were dropped off his bowling, but he was also very expensive. Although he came back well in the next spell, in the second spell, but I think his first spell was again very expensive. And then you look at a Prasidh Krishna, Washington Sundar. So a majority of the bowlers didn't perform really well. And then you come to the batting. Apart from Abhishek Sharma and a bit of Shivam Dubey, there was no one whom we can talk about. Fielding, you dropped a couple of catch-ups. I think in all three departments they lacked. And then there was an Ireland. And also one thing is there with respect to the Indian team. Whenever they play new bowlers, like the batters who have not played these kind of bowlers before in their career, irrespective of the format, they struggle a lot. It's not just subjected to Test cricket. This criticism in all three formats: ODI cricket, Test cricket, and T20 cricket as well. You look at Jay Mundra, Matthew Ollard, both of them. They were making their debut. They shared 5 wickets between them. Matthew Humphreys was picked despite India having a lot of left-handers. Still, a Matthew Humphreys were picked, and he picked up 3 wickets. And credit should be given to Lorcan Tucker as well, the captain. Despite Matthew Humphreys being expensive in his first over, he backed him, and then he went on to pick Tilak Varma's wicket as well. So I think a bit of credit to Ireland as well, but that won't take anything away from the fact that India were very poor in all three departments. You would say, but again, I won't say that they took Ireland lightly just because they played their best team. They didn't play any debutant. It was not a Prince Yadav. It was not a Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. Just imagine, in an imaginary situation now, in hindsight, if both of them would have made their debut and then would have been talking that the debutants played, I think India took them lightly. That's why they introduced the debutants against Ireland, and this is what happened. But India played their best team. I think only Ravi Bishnoi could have been the addition in place of Washington Sundar. That's what we were talking about in the pre-match as well. Apart from that, I think the team was good. It's just the short selection and poor bowling effort, I think, and combination of everything that went against India. So I think not complacency, but lack of execution, lack of adaptability in those conditions cost India the game.
Now, Shamik, there's also a debate around a few players whether the selection committee are forcing and making them all format player, be it a Washington Sundar, be it be it a Prasidh Krishna. These two players were talked about being, let them play ODI cricket, let them play Test cricket. Why are you forcing them in T20 format? And also with Tilak Varma, there's an issue with strike rate against spin bowling. We saw that in the India A series. We have seen that in the past during the T20 World Cup, during the where they had to change his position also, and also we saw that in the IPL as well. What's your take on Tilak Varma? He's the vice captain of the team right now, but at number five, I feel you have better players, at least in this format when it comes to the Indian team. You have dropped someone like a Rinku Singh. Of course, when Hardik Pandya returns, when Nitish Kumar Reddy returns, they will get the preference of playing in that middle order spot. But you cannot drop your vice captain, right? If you have appointed
Exactly.
someone a vice captain, then you will have to play him. And now with Vaibhav Sooryavansh's pressure also being there, you have to somewhat fit him. How do you make everyone fit in that top six? And also your thoughts on selection committee trying to make certain players all format players. Harshit Rana is also there, but Harshit Rana's graph in the last few months before his injury, it was going up. He bowled extremely well in Australia also before getting injured. But Tilak and Prasidh Krishna are the talk of the town when it comes to all format players. And of course, your thoughts on Tilak Varma against spin bowling and that combination, top six combination.
Yes, Shubhan, I'm coming to that, but before that, you raised a very valid question that whether the Indian team yesterday were complacent. I don't think they're complacent, but they were arrogant. They were
Hmm.
arrogant, and there was always that kind of a belief someone will do it down the order. If I'm not doing it, then Shivam Dubey will do it, and after that, even we have Harshit Rana, he can do it. So that kind of arrogance was there. So India fell prey to that, and at this game, the beauty of the game of cricket is it doesn't allow arrogance, and India fell prey to their arrogance yesterday. That is one thing. Coming to your question, yes, but once again, you have to cut the selection committee a bit of slack because if you look at Washington Sundar, but do you have any alternative in that? I mean, as someone exactly similar profile, you have to make do. Test cricket, he is not an off spinner. Even Tamil Nadu cricket, he has never been considered as an off spinner. But when Ashwin called it a day, you had to have someone who could, who could match, who can never be like Ashwin, but sort of match that profile. So
I
beyond,
mean, if you are making Washington Sundar bowl in this format, you are of course not making him bowl 4 overs. He won't bowl 4 overs regularly. So why not give those
it,
overs to Tilak Verma or Abhishek Sharma? I have no idea why they have made these bowlers stop bowling who are pretty regular bowlers for their state teams.
absolutely, absolutely, very, very logical point. But this thing is, if you look at, and I don't know whether when a player is bowling in the match, it is not down to the selectors. It is down to the team management, head coach Gautam
Hmm.
Gambhir. If head coach is convinced that he will ill result going in the long run, that maybe that is the reason. You look at the trend set because, and it is across formats. After the Guwahati Test match, we all believed that Sai Sudarshan at number three is proving to be a misfit. But Gautam Gambhir put his foot down. No, he will make him the country's best number three. I think it is something similar. It is here with Washington Sundar that he will make him a genuine T20 cricket all-rounder. Yes, Tilak Verma has his problems in the middle order, but once again, as you rightly said, he has been appointed deputy. Although these appointments are until the Asian Games, after that, the selectors will reassess. But you cannot drop your. See, the advantage for these players are that the majority of the games they will get builders. They will go to England and they will be playing on highways. So these are aberrations. And 7 days down the line, nobody even would recall what happened in Ireland because the England series would be on. And the majority of the matches in this format are played on highways. So players like Tilak Verma will get away because on majority of the occasions he will score runs. Yes, India have, if you particularly go pinpoint spin bowling factor, Rajat Patidar is a better batsman than him as far as handling spin in the shorter format is concerned. But once again, Tilak Brahma is also a left-hander, and you know how fascinated Gautam Gambhir is to the left-handers, because how much does he like to have left-handers
Rinku
in the
Singh
playing
was
11?
also a left-hander.
Rinku Singh is also a left-hander. Rinku Singh, I don't know whether I don't think Rinku Singh did anything wrong to be
Hmm.
dropped, completely dropped from the squad. But that's the decision they have taken. Rinku Singh in the field also ensures first class. I mean, super fielding. Rinku Singh, but then again, they have back Tilak Varma and they'll continue with that. And if you look at sample size of 10 matches, you'll see Tilak Varma has been scoring in six, and that's enough to be
Hmm.
part of the squad.
Hmm. Bharat, your analysis on Tilak Varma, his issues against spin, is he not allowing this Indian batting team to be one of the better batting sides in the world right now? If you can somehow fit Vaibhav Sooryavanshi in the top three, make him open, bat Sanju Samson at three, somewhat switch between Ishan and Shreyas at number four and number five. You'll have a that way you can have a couple of wicket keeping options as well with you. What's your take on Tilak Verma? Where do you fit him in this T20I format?
Yeah, I guess I briefly touched upon him just a few minutes ago. I think he has a problem against spin. He has to go back to drawing boards. You might have played 50 games, 80 games, 100 games, or whatever it is. But if you have a problem, then you have to address it. So that is where I think it comes down to with Tilak Varma. See, if you look at stats, I have seen a few of his stats against different lengths. He definitely has a problem against good length bowling from spinners. That's basically what you call it as spot bowling, that spot
Hmm.
bowling that spinners do. He has a problem against that length. Is not able to score enough runs, especially through the onside while facing spinners when they bowl on that length. So it could be anything. It could be in relation to his head position. It could be in relation to stance. But it is for him to go back to drawing board. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to improve as far as not a strike rotation. It includes hitting fours and sixes against spinners. I don't think it is a mental thing. It's more than that. I think there's a flaw with the Tilak Varma while playing spin. Even if he wants to play Test cricket in the future, somewhere in the future, again it would kind of act as a hindrance while playing spin. In my humble opinion, as I noted, I would have definitely looked at someone like Rajat Patidar. He can also play number four if needed. If needed, he can slot in at three or four. And I think they could have looked at him in T20 cricket. He's a very good player of spin. I think he's a slightly underrated player of pace as well. If you notice, his strike rate was around 200. The kind of shot that he played against Kagiso Rabada's 150 kilometers per hour delivery in the IPL, that itself is what can I say narrates a story in itself. So I think they could have looked at Rajat Patidar for some reason. They, perhaps it's a bit of perception based on what happened in the 2024 Test series against England. But again, it's a different format. I don't even think Rajat Patidar played his national game. And that particular Test series, his strike rate was something like 40. I've never seen Rajat Patidar playing like that in the Ranji Trophy as well. In the Ranji Trophy, his strike rate would usually be 70 or 80. In the Test series, his strike rate was 40. That was not Rajat Patidar. That was perhaps his twin brother who was masquerading as Rajat Patidar in the Test series. So they should forget about that Test series. The selectors give him and the chance, because I definitely feel he's someone who has the game against spin bowling, and also he's a very decent player of fast bowling. But I have a gut feel that they will continue with Tilak Varma, mainly because whatever the kind of game-breaking performance that he did in the Asia Cup final last year, because of that, I think he will get a long rope. Unfortunate for someone like Rajat Patidar.
Yes, Shamik.
Shubha, just one thing I missed. I mean, see, tomorrow they will bring in changes. Vaibhav Sooryavanshi will play. They will have to, after 148 all out against Ireland, they will have to play Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. And unfortunately, very likely Sanju Samson would be the fall guy. And it shouldn't have been the case. This is your set opening pair. And as you very rightly said, Sanju Samson can drop to one down in the batting order. And if you want to bring in changes, you should do it in the middle order, but that will not happen because they will bring on Vaibhav Sooryavanshi, and maybe very likely I don't see them dropping Ishan Kishan either. Tilak Verma is their vice captain; he will have so very likely Sanju Samson will have to make way, and that will be a little unfortunate for Sanju Samson, who just who is still very fresh from winning the Player of the Match award at the T20 World Cup. the way he played. Without Sanju Samson, India's resurrection in that tournament wouldn't have happened. But that's the way it is, and that's life. But tomorrow, Vaibhav Suryavanshi will play.
I am of the view that there should not be any vice captain named for bilateral series. Internal communication should be there that you are the second captain, like what happens in football generally. That there are multiple captains, 4 5 captains in the team, and if the main captain is not playing, then the second captain leads the side on the pitch. So vice captain, I think in bilateral series makes things extremely complicated. You cannot drop the vice captain. If you drop, then there are questions on selection committee, criticism over on the team management. So it's a very tricky area. I think you can have an internal communication that these two players are your vice captains. If something happens to the main captain, then you will lead the side. Otherwise, there's no need to officially name a vice captain in a bilateral series. In the
Shubhan, that used to be business policy for a very long time
yes,
until the early 90s, especially
yes.
for overseas stores. They used to name a vice captain. For home bilateral, they never named a vice captain.
Mhm.
And only after Sachin Tendulkar came to prominence and Azhar was the captain, that was, I think, for the first time they appointed an official vice captain, Sachin Tendulkar, deputy to Azharuddin.
I think they should go back to this. There's no, real uh, official need to name a vice captain in bilateral series. You can do without one. And right now, Weber, with Tilak Varma being the vice captain, you have to play him. You cannot drop him to, bring in a Weber Sooryavanshi, make Ishan or Sanju bat in the middle order. You can do that. You have done that in the Asia Cup, in the T20 World Cup as well. Uh, but now, where do you see Tilak Varma in this? Is he a misfit in this particular lineup?
See, I won't say that they cannot do it because a lot of things which we thought that
Hmm.
they won't do, they have done. Whether
Hmm.
it's bringing back bringing back a Shubman Gill into the T20I setup, and then there were talks of making him a all format captain, to dropping him, not selecting Shreyas Iyer for the Asia Cup when he had a great IPL season. So there are a lot of things that this Indian team management, this group of selectors have done, which we never thought of. And see, then you have to be as bold as a Virat Kohli or Ravi Shastri, that you make a Ajinkya Rahane set out of a test in South Africa and make a Rohit Sharma play. And then reporters will ask that Ajinkya Rahane was your vice captain. Why you dropped him? Then they said that we thought Rohit Sharma is best fit for this condition. That's why we played him. So, and then you have to be that bold. That something which Virat and Ravi Shastri did in 2018 during the 2018 tour. So you can do it definitely, because see, ultimately it's about getting the result, playing your best 11. So first question comes: is Tilak your best player? Now, if in conditions, if he's a middle order batter, if we are playing him in the middle order, he will have to face spin. You know, yesterday it was not a Mitchell Santner, it was not a Keshav Maharaj, it was Matthew Humphreys, but because he was struggling to rotate the strike and find the boundaries, what he did, he tried to do something innovative, a bit of jailbreak, just because uh, he was getting bogged down by the dot balls. Then what he tried to do, he tried to play in short, which he doesn't play a lot of times, and that's where he got out. So I have wrote a piece on Tilak Varma when he was leading India A on against Sri Lanka in that Tri Nation series. He was the highest run scorer for India in that series.
Weber, the electricity seems to have gone off. Now, Shamik, the question to both Shamik and Bharat also. Which players would you drop? What would be your rotation for the second T20? It's a must-win match, unless you want to suffer a whitewash against Ireland. It's a must-win match for India. What are the changes you would want to, for the second T20I?
Supporting a whitewash to Ireland would be something novel. We have suffered home test series whitewashes to New Zealand and South Africa. Now in the shortest format, that would be something novel, but I don't see them touching the middle order. I see a couple of changes tomorrow. One is that Vaibhav Suryavanshi coming in, very likely for Sanju Samson, number one, and Prince Yadav replacing Prashit Krishna. As far as I am concerned, I think those would be the two changes.
Nice, nice. Bharat,
Yeah, can you just come again?
what are the changes you are expecting? What would you change in this India 11?
Oh, I don't think they would make many changes. So even before this particular match, I noted that it's perhaps time for them to try Prince Yadav. As I noted, with greatest respect to Prasid, I think he's better off playing ODIs and Test cricket because he's developed there. He's developing his game. But in T20 cricket, I think it takes too much pressure on himself, especially when he plays for the country. It seems like in the world of IPL, where he's taken 40 wickets, or his last two IPL seasons is much better. But when he plays for the country in T20Is, it just seems to can't seem to execute. It seems like scrambled mind out there. So Prince Yadav to come in the equation because he seems to do slightly better under pressure. And perhaps, yeah, I think they might look at Vaibhav Sooryavanshi because there's also a lot of pressure on the Indian think tank to play him. Maybe they will pick him for one game. It would be interesting to see who would be kind of left out. I won't say dropped because it's not right to use the word dropped for even someone like Sanju Samson because he has been the player of the tournament. It would be tough on him, but they have to leave someone out, and Abhishek Sharma has just scored a 50 or 20 balls.
Maybe you can say, Abhishek, you have done well. You will next play in England. Why
Yeah,
not sit
but,
out?
but if I were Abhishek Sharma, I wouldn't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
liked
yeah, of
it.
course,
I would have
of
said,
course.
I'm in good form. I want to play more games. So anyway, it would be tough on either of them. Interesting to see, or maybe who knows, they would tell to Ishan Kishan that you might have to miss out. Whoever it is, it would be tough on all those three guys. But I guess they would look at someone like Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Other than that, I don't think they would make many changes to that middle order. Obviously, the captain has to play. Tilak Varma obviously will play. And yeah, I think these are the maybe two changes you would see.
Vaibhav, your changes in the India 11?
Before that, I'll just complete my point on Tilak Varma event of a call game. So yeah, see, problem again with Tilak is I wrote on him because this is not just his issue in last 1 month or so. Not just IPL. If you look at last couple of years, his strike rate and average both has gone down against Spain. Even though he had a great series in Sri Lanka, still, but those conditions were not a lot sprint friendly. So I think he has to work on his game. But the unfortunate part now is that because he is the designated vice captain, he will be back, and the ones who have performed, one of them will have to make. When I agree with Shamik Dave that it has to be, then again it has to be Sanju Samson. Why Sanju Samson? Just because Sanju also struggles against seaming conditions where there is a bit of assistance for the fast bowler, especially in the first 6 overs. If he survives the first 6 overs, then Sanju Samson becomes tough to stop. But there's the problem where it lies for Sanju Samson, that Sanju Samson has this problem against the moving ball. On tacky pitches where there's a bit of spongy bounce, he has his issues. So I think Sanju Samson making way for Vaibhav Sooryavanshi. Also, I would like to see Ravi Bishnoi coming in, an attacking spinner. I thought he was in a great form in the IPL as well. It took Virat Kohli's wicket in the power play with a googly. And not a lot of times you will see Virat Kohli getting bowled out by a spinner. So I think Ravi Bishnoi is a better option and more attacking option in place of Washington Sundar, and yes, Prince Yadav in place of Prasidh Krishna. So three changes for me.
Three changes. So people are expecting changes for the second T20. I, for one, have that weird feeling that India will go with the same 11. I don't know why, but India will go for the same 11. I've seen this thing in Gautam Gambhir that whenever they
Yeah,
lose a
Gautam
match,
Singh Gautam. Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Shuman, you are right.
they'll
Gautam Singh
become
Gautam. It would.
they can be a bit stubborn. They can be a bit stubborn and
Hmm.
say, we picked the right team. If you make too many changes, people will think, oh, you picked the wrong team. They will want to prove the critics wrong by picking up the same team and tell the world that one it was just a one off. It was just a one off day for the players on the
But
field.
they
So
they
I
will certainly they will certainly make somebody like Prasidh Krishna sit out, saying that he has been playing regularly one-off test ODI series, so just a bit of rest for him.
I don't know. I don't know. But maybe they had they won the match, I would have said two, three changes are possible. But now they have lost. I have a weird feeling that they might feel the same 11. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Tomorrow today there's an optional session, practice session. So let's see which I am expecting mostly the batters to walk out. for the session. So Rohit will be there in Belfast to give you all the updates. Tomorrow there is a very important India Australia match in the Women's T20 World Cup as well, and the team will be practicing at the Lords today. So all the updates will be provided by Trisha Snehashish Boriada from Lords and Rohit from Belfast. So stay tuned to Rep Sports for all the updates. We'll continue to give you all the coverage. Like, share, and subscribe to the platform for more. And have a good day.